All right, everybody, peace. Welcome to the Started Body Show. Wherever or however you're listening, we're so grateful to have you here with us. I'm your host, Kashawn Cottle, and I'm joined here today by the wonderful, the Mr. Fantastic, Mr. Dre Pennington.
Mm, mm. What up, y'all? What up? What up? What up? How we doing?
Dre, how you?
Sean, it's it,
Go
it's
ahead.
it's
Go
so
ahead.
good to see you.
I miss you,
So good to see
man.
you.
I
I
miss you,
know.
bro. What have you been up
I
to?
know. It's crazy.
What have you been up to,
You
man?
know, I'm just living life, man. Trying to get back into a good shape. You
Yeah.
know, the holidays are coming up, so I know how hard that's gonna be because it's like everybody can cook. And then, bro, we're getting blessed with some great and like some great, content as long as it comes with like sports. Like, I don't know how else to put it. So I tell people like it's been a crazy year of sports.
Hasn't it, man? Like, just impeccable, man.
Yeah, from bad quarterback play to from surprise teams being great this year
You didn't have to. You
to
didn't have to lead off with the bad quarterback play.
bro, you
No,
got to, bro. It's been so bad. Like we'll get into it, and it's gonna make me laugh so hard because I'm like, bro, you could quarterbacks are literally throwing this year what like 150 yards in winning games, and it's so crazy.
I know
Am
who.
I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I know who you're talking about, and
Okay,
you're gonna get into it.
I
But
just want
I
I just want to
see
make sure.
you're throwing shots already. You're sneak dissing
I'm
already.
not.
You're
I'm not.
coming out guns blazing, man. This is crazy. Wow. But
Oh
Dre,
my god.
Before we get started though, man, let's do a little check in, man. How you feeling physically? How you feeling?
Physically, bro, I feel better. I feel good. Learning how to now I'm getting in this older age. I just had a birthday. Learning how
Congrats.
to I think I know, dude. Learning how to stretch, I think is like so crazy for me now because it's like now if I don't do it in the morning, from past like not injuries, but I'd say all those games before, I'm like, ugh, tight, body hurting. Ah,
Dre, I don't think I've ever. Never mind. I was gonna say I think I've
what,
never seen you hurt, but then I remember our playoff game in England
bro?
when you. You want to tell that story? You want me to tell it?
bro. I went from, and I'll never get hurt to, my face, I'm
Literally,
bleeding everywhere.
but you did say that though, like 2 weeks before the playoffs started. He's like, "Yo, I've never been hurt before. Never had an injury."
I was like, bro, from college on, I was like, I haven't had an injury. As soon as I said that 2 weeks later, boom,
Boom.
my face, my nose, ah, blood everywhere. I was like, oh my God.
Hey, remember Coach walked on the court. He's like, "Dre, are you okay?" And everyone just looked at him like, "What do you think, man?" There's blood literally pouring out of his face.
Coach, no. Hey, what made it worse is I'm 100% sure I should not have played that, played after that.
Oh
But
no.
I got back in the game. It was played, and I'm 100% then I was pretty sure I was woozy almost the whole game, and it was the worst. It was probably one of the worst games I had that year, and I was just like,
You no
I was
one
going
did
like this the whole time,
no one did any concussion protocol,
bro.
checked on you,
Nothing.
nothing.
It was like, oh, you good? Yeah, all right, cool, you got it. I was like, all right, well, let's get it.
I remember on the bus ride back, someone was like, "Yo, don't let Dre fall asleep. He might not wake back up." I was like, "Yo, the fact that we're just casually joking about this is incredible."
Bro, it's so bad. Oh my god, that's so bad.
Our captain just leaking fluids right now, and we're just laughing.
So bad. Dude.
Oh man, but Dre, okay, emotionally, man, how you feeling?
Good, bro. Started thinking as the year goes, and the holidays come up, like they usually gives me a lot more joy,
Nice.
and it's just like I started appreciating the holidays more, man. Especially this past birthday, it was a little new to me, a little bit newer. I don't know if anyone's noticed my background has changed a little bit, so
Yes.
yeah, so I moved, so like it's different for me. It's a lot different, a lot of new normals. I'll put that.
Is that Prince in the background right there?
Yeah, bro. I'm playing on the guitar.
Okay, I'm not gonna give away your location, but okay, that.
Big indicator where my location is,
There we go.
guys.
Yep.
If you want to think about that.
Mentally, man, where you at right now?
Mentally strong, getting stronger. The new position I'm in, like it's teaching me how do we put it? Grind.
Mm.
Like learn how to grind differently. Because in
Yeah,
basketball, you naturally gotta grind. Like especially that overseas basketball, you better know how to grind.
yeah.
But this is like teaching me differently how to grind. Like mentally being into it as much as possible, as much as like physically without any actual physical actions. Like your body, I'm like my body's going through it, but it's mentally going through it more than it is physically, and I'm like not even moving as much, which is very very weird for me.
Mm. Is the
Yeah.
same sort of standard though, and the same sort of methods of maintaining work ethic? Does it transition from overseas basketball to what you do now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%. It actually transitions. It's like the easiest transition because it's a constant. The constant for basketball, the constant like I got to be the best I can be. I got to be the best I can be. There will be other people around, like you see, like dang, he's doing good. He got that contract. Dang, he's doing good. He's got that contract. Like, where am I at? You can't do that. It's a
Mm.
constant like you just got to worry about yourself and just like grind. Like appreciate the things around you, yes, and appreciate like the people. Like clap for the people that are doing good because it's like, hey, you got that.
Hmm.
But like you're also like I got to hunt after mine too, and you just it's a grind, like a pure grind.
Yeah, and maybe not putting pressure on yourself as well, and just
Yeah,
being
yeah,
present in the moment
yeah. 100% that all the time, constantly.
for sure. So spiritually, man, how are you feeling right now? Where you at?
Oh man, I'm good too. Wake up daily, pray,
Hmm.
give me some water, walk around. Anything that happens in my life, I pray on it, think about it for a little bit, and then me and the man above, we talk about that
Okay,
to ourselves, and then we come to our decisions.
love it, love it. I love it,
Hmm.
brother. I
What
love it.
about you, bro? How are we doing physically?
Physically, I am good, man. I am amazing. I am in the process of adding 3 extra pounds of muscle because I'll be preparing for something going on in the next couple of months. I'll
There you go.
disclose what's going on in
Feel
another,
it, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
another
It's
episode.
okay.
But so yeah, I've just been doing that, and Meidre, I'm not the biggest guy in the world in terms of height, but so
Yeah.
I struggle with putting on weight. I just kind of like float at the like 165, 170 range. So saying I need to add 3 extra pounds, and I hate lifting. It's just not a thing.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Dude is literally a walking muscle. It literally said, "Bro, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, sir. You're 5." Not giving about your height, but for your height, you're at a very good stature.
But when you tell me I have to add on muscle, it's like, do I really though? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. You mean I can't just like do cardio and like work out in the court? Like
Nah.
I gotta go upstairs.
Nope.
Yeah.
Gotta go throw the weights around.
Listen, we all got things about the grind that we don't like doing, right? And
Yeah,
lifting is just one of those things that I don't enjoy.
I understand.
Yeah, but physically, I'm good, man. In a great space.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How about mentally? How we doing?
Mentally, I'm great, man. These past couple months, ever since I got back from Jordan, and waiting, for the next contract, I had to really focus on, like you just said, man, not necessarily worrying about other people's success, but instead, celebrating them while also understanding that just because I'm not getting it now doesn't mean it's not going to come. So like delayed doesn't mean deferred. I just have to
Yeah.
be patient and wait on my time because the Most High has always been patient. Has always been on time with everything for me. So that's not going to suddenly change in this
Yeah.
instance. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's easier.
Uh,
It's easier said than done. But like when you're going through that moment, it forced me to not only humble myself, but also really genuinely main accept that understanding.
yeah, I get that. I get that a lot actually. You 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 know I know you struggle with this one, but yeah, not like I get it.
Yeah.
And then how are we feeling spiritually?
Oh, I'm in such a great space, man. It's just it's weird, man, that it's so odd that we feel like we have to go through struggles, man, to really get a stronger relationship with the Most High. And like, I can say now, like this is the strongest relationship I have with the Most High, like in probably ever. And it wasn't until I felt like I had my entire career taken away from me that it forced me to get closer to Him, because it's made me realize that's what's most important, man. And I was putting too much pressure on, worldly things and like basketball and other things, as opposed to like putting pressure on my relationship with Him and like focus on improving that. So I'm in a great. I'm This is the best my relationship has been with Him
That's good to hear. It's
ever. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful right there. Love that.
Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But Dre, listen, man, you ready to get into these topics,
Oh,
man, of the day?
of course, of course, of course, of
All right,
course.
so we got a
Yeah, I'm
lot to
ready.
cover. We got a lot to cover today, man. So we're gonna be talking about the MVP front runners. We're talking about the NFC AFC favorites. We're talking about your boys over in the Bay, Golden State Warriors. Is there a little friction going on in that locker room? Who's the best QB in the NFL? Are the Cavs legitimate title contenders? And the Houston Astros and Dusty Baker, if they win, will he be the best manager of all time in baseball? Got a lot to talk about today. So Dre, let's get right into it. Let's
Yeah.
talk about these NFL MVP frontrunners, man. Dre,
Oh.
let's just get right into it. Dre, who is your MVP for the NFL right now?
All right. So it's kind of funny. I'm not gonna say one of my guys from the Bay Area. Obviously, I'm not gonna say with somebody from the Niners, guys. Just calm down. Not gonna say that
Gosh.
because, but I will honestly say, and this is honest opinion. Um, I think it's Josh Allen.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Wow. Really?
yeah.
Okay.
So I was kind of looking at his stats, and just thinking about it. Josh Allen is 19-6 so far, and we're what, seven games to the season?
Eight or nine
Eight,
games. Yeah.
about eight, and there's what, 17 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, Josh Allen will double his stats to me. So he has a chance to throw for probably 40 touchdowns this year, 40 to 50 touchdowns, and probably maybe throw around like 10, 12 picks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there are going to be some games where he's going to throw for 4 or 5 touchdowns in a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, and I'm looking at it like I compare his stats to Lamar's stats to Patrick Mahomes' stats, and even now that it's kind of funny we're putting his name in this. Even Jalen Hurts' stats. Jalen Hurts has probably the better record. They'll probably have a better. They'll finish off the season better, and Jalen Hurts kind of came out of nowhere for people, so it makes the story even better. But Josh Allen has been dominant. Like his head-to-heads, he beats out Mahomes. His loss to their loss to the Dolphins, kind of iffy if they just spike the ball because then they it gives them a chance. But they did lose, and Tua
But
did outduel him.
and
Yeah,
Miami is a legitimate playoff team. I mean,
yeah,
they're one of the contenders in the AFC.
yeah. So that's why I say like, yes, I like, and even Josh then he had a pretty good game against him. Like he had 400 yards, 2 TDs, passer rating of 94. Um, like he showed up. That was actually his statistically. That was one of his better games in the season. Um, and then he does it all. He gets it done with his arm. He gets it done with his legs. And then his defense is like actually giving him the ball back. So he actually has a solid defense. So he can,
Yeah.
if he goes out there and throws a pick, he can say like, all right, I can get us back. Like it doesn't matter. Our defense will hold us. and it's not even like he's throwing picks every game. Like he's actually been pretty good of not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I got Josh Allen, man. I think he's killing it this year.
Yeah, Dre, I'm actually surprised that you didn't say Patrick Mahomes, man. So does the matchup that they had early in the year, is that playing a factor in your decision as well?
Yeah, so it did play a factor. Just because even though may have the slight edge right now in touchdowns to interceptions a little bit, and I think he may have a higher passer rating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has a higher passer rating. Um, their head to head kind of told me like, all right, it's like it's these two, and then it's everybody else. Like
Yeah.
Mahomes and Allen are now the Rodgers and Brady type of thing, where every season you know what you're going to get from them, and they're going to be the best quarterbacks.
So is it time now to start holding Allen to the same standard that people hold Mahomes and
Yeah,
Rodgers?
100%. Yeah, they 100%. If he doesn't get it done this year, and he's got the best, they have the best team, and to me, they have one of the best teams in the NFL. Like they have, I think they're top five in defense, top five in offense, top five in special teams. They know how to get the ball. They know how to take the ball away. They know how to score. So like, there's no reason you shouldn't at least have a deep playoff run, or realistically you're the expected Super Bowl favorites.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
And Dre, I'm glad you brought up the head to head aspect with Mahomes and Allen because your who you play obviously indicates your record. And I think that has to play a factor in deciding this MVP conversation. Just like we talked about off air, who have the Eagles really played and what are their signature wins? They have a really great win against Dallas. But go ahead.
no. You're right. No, they do. They have the great win against Dallas,
But it was
and
at
then
home
I would
and Dallas didn't have Dak Prescott.
yeah, and then they have, but we're not going to do that. Like Cooper Rush hasn't been doing them very good, even though that's not too much of a jump. I like too much of a step down. We'll that's a later on time. But um,
Oh,
no. But
okay.
I'm saying like the Cowboys, their defense is dominant. Like it's dominant. Like their
That's
defense
yeah,
was scoring for them.
yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up too, Jerry. So the point that I wanted to make is a lot of people do have Jalen Hurts in that MVP conversation as a front runner because the Eagles are 8-0. They haven't lost. But I don't necessarily agree with that because, like you just said, Philly is a great team. They got a great defense. They've got a great receiving core. Special teams is great as well. But like we saw against Houston, that defense is susceptible to the run, and we do. I don't want to look too deep into it because they haven't played anyone of statute yet. So the eight
They're,
and 0 doesn't isn't really saying much for me right now. which which
well,
what doesn't take away from how good Jalen Hurts is, though.
and I was gonna say the only team that I think that they have a legit win over, like who's legit, is the Vikings. But even then, they have a lot of things they need to work on. Even though
Yeah,
they are, I want to say they're a one loss team at this point.
yeah, they've lost one game so far.
Yeah. Um, and then I don't want to make this comparison, but it shows a lot. Do you remember a couple years ago when the Steelers were winning and they were like 7-0, 8-0,
This was 2 years
and
ago. Yeah,
yeah, and I told you this. I said they're not good.
you
The
did say
reason
that.
why they're winning is because they are winning. They're beating bad teams, and it was like, and they keep having bad teams that they're beating. I was like, they're gonna do what they do every year. Have a decent record, go to the playoffs, get smoked the first game.
You did say that. If we could, like, if we got a clip of that, someone play that back. Cause I do recall you saying that. But Dre, one thing I had noticed also is like it seems almost as if the MVP conversation just automatically goes to the quarterback that's on the best team. And if that's going to be the thought process that people have, you should just almost do it how baseball does it and have a separate award just for the pitcher, how they have the Cy Young award. If that's their thought process, you should just have the I don't know
Yeah.
The Tom Brady award or the Joe Montana award,
Yeah.
where it just goes to the best quarterback. And the reason I say that is because you talked about Dallas's defense. Is it too far out of the ballpark to say that Michael Parsons is an MVP candidate? I mean, is it too far to say that Tyreek Hill, who's having his best season offensively, is an MVP
Man.
candidate? And Derrick Henry
And
as well? Guys like that.
it, in my opinion, if Derrick Henry is going to win the NFL MVP, he should have won it when he had like that when he broke that record. When was that? 2 years ago. The NFL,
That
I think it was the NFL rushing record.
was that 2 years ago already. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they should
Okay.
have gave it to him then. But statistically, 2 years ago, I want to say that was 2020. I think Mahomes had the 50 touchdown season,
That
or
was the year before.
or
Yeah.
yeah. So like it's the quarterback. They put so much emphasis on it now. So there's a reason why they win it, but they should just pull a separate one for the quarterback to win only. Like there's no reason why it's only a quarterback winning NFL MVP.
Right. But Dre, and the only retort I would give to that is I understand why, because the quarterback position is the most important position on the football field, and really in all sports. So I get it. I get how it's more likely that the quarterback is going to be the MVP, because not like in basketball where
But
there's more fluidity to it. But go ahead.
but we've seen teams with decent to bad quarterbacks win it all, and that's why I think they put an overemphasis on it at times.
Okay. Yeah. The most recent example I can think of is Peyton Manning, when the Broncos won in 2015. He was, I mean, Brock
He was
Osweiler started
awful.
what 7 games that year, and
Yeah, and Peyton realistically he was on that last leg, and he was a pure game manager. He didn't do anything but throw 5 to 10 yards each game. His arm was a noodle after that. And then
yeah,
like so like him, that's an example. And then the Eagles won with two different quarterbacks that year.
yeah, and but Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate before he
He
got hurt.
was. He should have won that year. He should have won.
I will say that, but now look what he's doing. I mean, anyways, that's another story for another day.
Oh,
But but
yeah.
Dre, I will, with all of that, I will say that if you had to ask me my NFL MVP right now, I would say that it's Jalen Hurts. I would say that. And
I respect that.
but I would have Micah Parsons and Tyreek Hill second and third on my, if I had a 5 ballot, that would be my ballot. Jalen Hurts, Tyreek Hill, Micah Parsons, Josh Allen. Those would be my four. I would even have a fifth on there. But I think you brought up a good point as well, Dre. Like the standard, like if you don't, so once guys create a standard, if they ever fall below it, people think they're having a poor season. And you brought up Patrick Mahomes' 50 touchdown season. That doesn't mean that Patrick Mahomes is not having great seasons after that. It might just like statistically, like he's not achieving what he once did, but he's still having a greater impact, if not greater. Even for like
Yeah,
this year, like he lost Tyreek Hill, but he's still managing to have Kansas City
bro.
in at a high proficiency offensively.
And they still look dominant. Like that. Like the pieces around him will eventually change, but as long as he has, I think as long as he has Kelsey, a decent O line, and you throw in kind of any receivers that can just get a little bit of separation for him, dude, they'll be fine. Like they don't have an over the top guy, and they're still figuring it out. They actually look like the ball's spreading out more, and I think Kelsey's having statistically one of his better seasons still.
Yeah, he is. He is. So Dre, is, to put you on the spot right now, is Kansas City your favorite right now to come out of the AFC?
No, I still have the. I think I'm gonna have the Bills come out the AFC. Um, I just don't see them having a struggle other than until they play against Patrick Mahomes and anyone else in the AFC. Like I just don't see anyone in the AFC that's really dominant. Maybe Lamar and the Ravens because they're starting to figure out their foot. They're just worried about the playoffs. And he's also, which is crazy to say, he's not even in the MVP candidacy, and he's actually having a great season too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't want to take credit. I don't want to discredit him either because he has completely convinced me that he's worth every single penny of that guaranteed contract that Baltimore
Yeah,
did not give him. And
yeah,
I will not be surprised if Lamar leaves Baltimore.
it could be a thing. I've you know, but quarterbacks, MVP quarterbacks at that leaving is it sounds so crazy, but we've only seen that happen maybe a couple times
Deshaun
in the
Watson
NFL.
is the most obviously the most recent one I can think of, but before that I can't
I
think of anything.
Yeah, maybe
Like
I
leaving
only one I
in
can
their
think of is
prime?
yeah. I can't think of like when Peyton left, he was still on his last like 5 years, so I don't think he's in his prime at that time. I
No,
think
he
he's in
was
his last leg.
yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else.
No, me neither. Me neither. But Trey, who's your favorite coming out of the NFC then?
That's hard right now. That's probably the hardest one. Even though, because like we just talked about the Eagles, they haven't really they're beating teams, but it's like they showed a lot of a lot of struggle.
A lot of flaws.
Um. Yeah, and then I don't like the Cowboys because I don't think Dak is as good as they're making him out to be. And
Mhm.
they're defensively, they're great. Offensively, they're not good, and they're not in a good place. The receivers don't separate. The running back's not really that good. They haven't figured out their running back situation.
Mhm.
The Rams are bad. The usual teams are really bad right now. Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Would it be too far off to say that cuz right now I have Baltimore as my AFC favorite because of the addition they
Okay.
made with Roquan Smith.
Oh wow. Okay.
Though I did talk about in our blog how that's a little smoke and mirrors, and that was a front office doing Lamar Jackson dirty again. But that's another story. I do have Baltimore coming out of the AFC, but would it be too far off to say that if you're not completely sold on Philly, that Seattle could be an NFC favorite?
I no. Especially not coming out my division. There's no way you just said that. And Seattle beat a couple bad. They beat some teams, yes, but I seen when they played against my Niners, and we like they cooked them. It was 27-0. Now I mean 27-7. Now I think about it. Um, I don't think Seattle wins the division. I still got us winning it.
Okay.
Because I knew because it always happens every year. The NFL champion, the next year usually struggles. They usually have some type of struggle. So I knew that would happen. So I'm hoping my Niners, we pick up. I want to say that the 49ers, especially with the addition of Christian McCaffrey, um, and now our O line's better. We're getting healthy again. But I can't go against the Eagles because I'm actually rooting for Jalen Hurts. I hate how people like how they did him.
Is it because he's a Bama guy? I get it. I get it. You can just
No,
you
it's because he's a Sooner. He's a Sooner. That's where he graduated from, sir. He's a Sooner.
okay, but he won a national championship at Alabama.
That's cool. Yeah, he won it as a backup, but he's a Sooner and
Don't do
went back
that.
to the national
He was a
championship.
starter. He was a starter all
He
up
was
until the second half of the championship
who finished the game? Who finished the game? All right, he is a Sooner. He's a he did it. He had his best like statistic season with the Sooners. He is a Sooner.
So did Baker Mayfield, and what's he doing? Sorry, we're sorry. I didn't mean my bad. I'm just roll tide all the way. Anyway, Dre. All right, so let's transition to some basketball, man.
Oh, we
um,
can't wait.
you want to talk about your preseason pick? out the East, or you want to talk about your boys out the Bay? Which one do you want to go with first, man?
I'll go with my boys out the Bay first.
All right, man. Golden State is
All
actually
right.
three and 7 right now after losing to New Orleans last night.
Yeah.
A lot of speculation around whether Golden State can repeat this year. Dre, based on what you've seen, what are your thoughts on Golden State so far?
So no one's noticed, but like, I don't think no one noticed last year, but especially this year, it's super annoying. Steve Kerr puts a lot of emphasis on trying to get the young guys integrated and trying to get them like ready because it's like, hey, the Steph, Clay, and Dre window is closing. Realistically, they probably have like what three more years. Like they're Curry looks good. Clay not as well because he's actually dropping. Like his performance has actually been kind of crazy. I think I seen somewhere he's shooting like 29% from the field
Okay. Wow. That's crazy.
or 29% from three and like 40% from the field. Like it was something. It was a crazy stat. Um, so their windows closing. Curry's still averaging 30. You know, like the top five.
Curry is playing like an MVP candidate. He is.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Hmm.
yeah. So that's all happening. And then their young guys, their second unit is so bad, dude. It's so annoying.
what do you think about Wiseman's play, man? Because I know I have quite a bit to say, but I want to know what you think about Wiseman's play so far.
So he's not been good. I don't know what it is about him, why he's not gelling. He should easily come in and be in the mix and be fine. All you have to do, especially for his role on the team, block shots, rebound, and then get like easy buckets here and there and lobs. You have the physical tools to do all of that. But when he's in, for some reason, they try to play through him, especially on the second unit. They try to play through him, and I'm like, I get it, but like they're like he's obviously not making the right reads if people are coming to double or they're forcing him to pass it out. Like it sometimes look forced
Yeah.
and it just doesn't look like it's easy gelling with him.
Yeah.
But
And you've brought this up numerous times, Trey. People do have to remember that Wiseman pretty much only played high school basketball and then transitioned right over to the NBA. And
bro,
there is a little bit of grace period you have to give this young guy in terms of transitioning, especially with just in terms of IQ, not let alone physicality. But when someone uses their number on overall pick on you, there has to be a heightened level of pressure to develop quicker than the average individual, the average professional. And right now, he's not transitioning and developing at a number one overall pick standard and pace.
he's struggling. And then Kaminga also is not playing as well. I don't know why. He's never looked like I've watched him play numerous times. Yes, he's an athlete, but like basketball wise, he's never looked like he's like understood the game purely.
Yeah.
Um, Moody, I actually like Moody. I think he actually is really good. And then also Jordan Poole has not been performing for that contract.
And I'm glad you just say that. You just say that, Dre. You know, I want to give Poole a little bit of credit though, a little bit of grace because he has a agree. Let me know if you agree with me on this. He has a much larger role than he did last year, which means he's going
No,
to get
yeah,
more. He's going to get more shot opportunities, which means that his field goal percentage is more than likely to go down because he's taking more attempts. But the thing that bothers me about Jordan Poole is his effort on the defensive end. It comes and goes. It fluctuates. Now he can be a dynamite offensively, but defensively is where his intensity fluctuates. And better than anyone else. Golden State has always been a top defensive team on all their championship teams, and if I'm not mistaken, they're like last in points allowed so far this season.
dude, they're like that's another thing I was gonna say. They're giving up like 125 points a game. It is crazy to watch. It's more mind blowing because you're watching it and you're like, there's no not necessarily intensity, but it's like where is some of the effort? Like you're missing small little miscues. Like, bro, and like I said, it's more so on the second squad more than the first, but they're just missing small miscues, like small little things. Like everyone knows, like, yes, if you close out, the percentage of someone making the shot is smaller, and they're just missing some of those. And then it's like, all right, box out, and then they're missing a rebound, and and then someone scores, like, and then they're playing such bad defense because they're fouling so much. Oh my god!
Okay, that's a great point.
Like I looked at the foul count the other day. Like I want to say against the Magic has shot like 29 free throws compared to the like 7.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's an interesting stat.
And then I think against New Orleans, I think New Orleans outshot them in free throws again. So it's like those little small things, like all right, I just got one foul. But if every single person is at like 3 or 4 fouls that's touched the floor, that's a lot of fouling going on. Of course,
So
someone's going to shoot that many free throws.
a lot of reaching, right? Not beating your man to the spot.
So, and that's like, and it's sad to say that's like young players thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not supposed to be reaching as much, and then now like you have so many young guys, they're learning how to play defense in the NBA.
And Dre, why is it though that, like you said, Kerr is known for getting the younger guys more playing time, especially earlier on in the season on their championship runs. Why is it that this team isn't seem like really bought in? Why aren't they
Um,
bought in compared to opposed to like the other iterations of their championship teams that did have younger guys?
so before they had so many, so if you think about all their championship teams, especially the championship teams with without KD, I'm going to say that. So there are two championship teams without KD, or the championship run in 2016 without KD.
Mm-hmm.
So what you notice is they had a bunch of role players that were veterans. And on this team, it's not as many veterans anymore. Like their second unit used to be, all right, Curry or Clay will always be in, and their veterans will be picking up the slack of what they're missing. Now like they can't do that. Um, because Curry and Clay are now like they're playing less minutes. Like they're trying to make sure they're good for the playoffs. They don't
Right.
want them to be tired. So you got to rely on the young guys. Like, hey man, you gotta go out there and play. Like you got to do something. And they're reaching, they're fouling, they're giving up just bad open shots. Man, like it's really hard to watch some of those games
Mm-hmm.
because you're seeing a team score 125 points in a game. Like, bro, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dre, so how much of this slow start that they're off to, how much of that is dependent on of Draymond Green's poor play and, like you say, Clay Thompson's poor play?
Draymond, not as much because he's doing exactly what I would think he's doing. I think like 9, 10 points, 7 rebounds, and like 4 or 5 assists.
Mm-hmm.
So that's statistically, that's him like every year, not anything more.
He is at his
Um,
lowest rebounding though.
I think it's like 7 or 6 or something like that.
Yeah, it's his lowest since their first championship.
Yeah, and I expect that. Like it, he's. We're not gonna act like Draymond's not like 33, 30. Was he? He's in his mid 30s almost.
Yeah, so your expectations of Draymond have
Yeah,
increased, which is
but
fine. It's,
yeah, you still serve as the leader, but I don't think you're not one of the top guys anymore. And then um Jordan Poole, like you said, he's getting more shots now, so his percentages are going to be lower. And he's not under scrutiny, but like he's under like pressure because now like that is lingering over them.
right. Okay, I can see that. Before we transition over to the Cavs, I do want to bring up just something that Clay Thompson, the whole Clay Thompson and Charles Barkley sort of small incident
Yeah,
where Charles Barkley, in my opinion, made a pretty accurate and unbiased assessment of Clay Thompson's play, but Clay Thompson sounds like he took it personal and said that, "Hey, give me a break, give me some time." And I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think that little small moment right there is a reflection of how you can't. It's hard in today's media to keep people accountable anymore, because all Charles Barkley said was Clay's not the same player that he once was because he is in his 30s and he's coming off a major injury. So, and like you just said, we can't have the same expectation of him. And Charles is saying that you're Clay is saying that he's going to get back to that peak performance, but Charles is saying you're not going to get back to that peak performance because of your age and because of your injuries. So I'm not going to hold you to that standard anymore. I'm going to hold you to the standard right here, not up here. And I don't think Charles said anything wrong. If anything, Charles made a very accurate assessment of that. But that's just my
No,
opinion.
no, no. He didn't. He actually pretty much hit it on the nail. Like, hey, dude, you're like you're not that you're bad. It's more so like you're not the same. Like you said, you're not the same player. And then like yeah, he's gonna need some time because he's a shooter. Like he's not a super athlete, so it's gonna take him a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, bro, some of the we've never seen a guy have an Achilles and a ACL injury and then come off and be like a dominant player. Like I don't think that's happening. Only person I've seen bounce back from Achilles injury is KD.
And John Wall tore his Achilles too, and I think John Wall also had some sort of knee surgery as well. But
Yeah,
but no one's saying that. No one, you don't hear John Wall saying, "Oh, well, I'm not. Just give me some time. I'm going to be." I think part. Let me know if I'm wrong, Dre. This is my perspective. I think part of the issue is that Clay is now starting to project the feelings that he had early in the dynasty run of not getting the credit he thought he deserved. Because at first it was always Curry and KD and Draymond. You were always naming those guys before Clay in terms of importance on the championship run. And so because he never got that credit in his prime, now that he's outside of his prime, he those feelings are now starting to be projected outside. But that's just my perspective on my analysis. But
yeah.
what do you think?
I would say no. I would say it's more so just like that pride of bro. I still got it. Like
Okay.
don't ever say like I don't got it. Like I still got it. I think it's that pride of that.
Yeah.
Um, but like I don't think I have to disagree with you on that one. But yeah, no, like I don't think that they're gonna. In my opinion, they're gonna bounce back. It's only what 10 games in.
Yeah.
We have 72 more games now. Like they can mess around and go like win like the next 10, 15, and now it's like oh well maybe they're not that bad, and it's like bro they'll be fine. They'll make up.
Mm,
Um, and then oh that's my opinion.
gotcha. So Dre, what about the Cavs? Are they? I know they were your preseason pick, man. You were pretty high up on
Did I
them.
pick? I said the Cavs will finish top five. I did say that.
You're pretty
I
high
said
on
top
them.
three.
You did say top three.
I
Are
said top
you are
three.
you still sticking with them to either finish top three or even possibly make it out the East?
I don't pick them to make it out the East. I actually picked the Bucks to make it. I'm gonna stick with the Bucks. But them finishing top three is can really happen because oh my god, they look good. Um, and then on top of that, they have a guy on their team that actually raises his level of play in the playoffs, and they have a veteran. They have a vet as their best player, so that's
Would you
really
would you
good.
call would you call Donovan Mitchell a vet at this point?
He's been in the league for what 7 years,
He came in
5 6 years.
2018 was his first season. 27
Was it? It was like 2017, I think.
2018.
That was
Or
the year.
yeah, the
Because it was the year
2017
that
18 season. That was
yeah
his first year. Is that
yeah.
5 years?
So
That's 5 years,
it's
yeah.
been five. It's been for 5 6 years. Yeah.
5 years, yeah. Okay.
Um. Yeah. Like he's what he has playoff experience. He has. I don't think they've. I don't think he ever went to the because they usually loses in the second round with
Yeah.
Utah. They hit their ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, like I think they're great. I think they'll hit the second round. Now, who they play in the second round is entirely up to them. That's going to be the hard part after that because I don't think they're better than the Bucks and Boston. They expose Boston for their flaws. I think they can play with them.
What about Chicago?
I don't like Chicago's without Lonzo as much.
Okay.
Being honest, I don't know why. I never. I think losing Lonzo last year was their big um was like a big hurdle against them. Like it was big on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think without him, it's going to be a little bit more rough. And if you remember, Chicago had the worst record against winning teams or teams over 500 last year,
Yeah.
and I don't think they made any huge offseason changes, like any huge offseason additions.
Trey, that's a good point. That's a good point you bring up. I don't. I don't think the Cavs are title contenders, but I do believe that they are in prime position, like you said, to finish in the top three in the East. I I don't think they're better than Milwaukee. Milwaukee's they believe is finally getting the credit they deserve as being the best team in the Eastern Conference. They're not better than Boston, and when healthy, I think they're right at pace with where Philly will be. Um, Obviously, this is all barring that the Nets don't get their stuff together. I'm still sold on
They're
Brooklyn.
not.
Listen. I gotta ride with them till that ship sinks, bro. Till it completely sinks, I'm riding with them.
They should sink the ship at like halfway through the season or
Bro,
first 20 games because it is crazy. Have you
listen,
been watching them?
I have.
It's
You know
bad
I've been watching.
basketball. You know it's bad basketball.
We
It's
are.
bad for NBA. Even NBA basketball is bad. Like you know that.
I'm not going to get into it because that we're saving that conversation for the next episode. But Dre, before we wrap up today, man, I do want to just talk about the Houston Astros manager Dusty Baker. And
Ooh,
right, as you know, World Series going on right now. Houston Astros, Philadelphia Phillies. As of right now, the Astros are up 3-2 in the series. Game 6 being tonight, actually. Dre, I had someone ask me actually if Dusty Baker wins the World Series, his first World Series this season, will he be a top five manager of all time? And my rule is if you have to think about it, the answer is no, right? And so I did have to think about it, but I think this is the one exception where you do have to give credence to because Dusty Baker is in the top seven all time in wins. He's led two teams to World Series. Um, Three times he's led a team to having the best record in the majors, and he just has a very long, extensive career, not just managing, but also playing, but specifically managing. Um, I would have to say that if Dusty Baker wins this World Series, he is a top five manager all time. It's just unfortunate that he has blown a lot of his teams have blown not only series leads but also divisional leads like throughout the regular season. But I'm glad to see Dusty finally get another opportunity to hopefully win a World Series. And hopefully he'll be able to do what he wasn't able to do in Washington, and that was win a World Series. But it's okay because the Nationals were still able to get a championship in 2019. But I I digress. I didn't mean to get it back into Washington, but
oh my god, he couldn't. He didn't win it in Washington, but it's okay. Like he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it done now. So, my question is to you because I'm not the biggest baseball guy. My question is to you: Where does this? Where do you think this puts him as a manager then?
top top
In
five.
that top five.
Yeah, he's in my top five all time. Yeah.
Okay, and then if he doesn't get this year done, how do you think this impacts his legacy as a coach?
Immensely, because this will be another instance where he blows a series lead in the World Series. And this is a moment where it can, not to put too much pressure on him, but this is a moment where it can really make or break his legacy. Because if he wins this one, then he'll probably have that monkey off his back. But if he doesn't win, then he'll continue to be viewed as the manager that can't get it done. He can't get the job done
Yeah.
completely. Um, so he's almost like in his John Elway sort of phase of his career. Like, when John Elway finally got
Uh,
that monkey off his back, he's in that moment right now.
okay.
Yeah.
And then, so if they do lose, do you give any of that towards the players, or so? Because my thing in baseball is like, I don't know who gets the lion's share of the blame, because I know the NBA, you don't get it done. Oh, your coach, and not like 40%, 30% of it goes to your coach, 70% of it goes to the players. Football, it's like 50-50.
Hmm.
For baseball, it's a little bit different. I like, how much of that would go to the players if they do not get it done?
The thing with baseball, there's so many variables, man. A lot of it is stringent on the players, but it's the adjustments and the lineup changes that a manager can make have a larger impact on baseball than I would say in any other sport, because you could choose to change your starting pitcher due to the matchups in the batting order, or you could choose to bring in a DH, or you could choose to bring in a pinch runner. Like, adjustments like that are very pivotal over the course of a game. And what we've seen, at least when he was in Washington, is that Dusty is very loyal to his players. So he's not just gonna like make an adjustment because of what the analytics might say. He's very old school in terms of going off what he feels and what he sees, as opposed to analytics, which is why some players love him, but which is why some of the modern general managers don't necessarily agree with the way he goes about it. So him winning will give credence to the old guard of how people used to manage, back in the early 2000s and
Mm,
the late 90s.
mm,
Yeah.
okay. All
But
right.
I
Well, that's
just want to say that Washington did win the World Series after he left. I'm saying we did beat the Astros that year, but I want to digress. I don't want to give us too much props. But Dre,
Dusty. If Dusty, if you're listening to us, I'm really rooting for you. Let's
I
go,
am
Dusty.
too. I am too. I'm too. But just know that Washington, we still have. Dre, it's been a great show. You have any shout outs that you want to give, man, before we wrap up?
Shout out to the fans. Shout out to you, Kashawn. Obviously, my dog. Um, Shout out to my guy Lord in the Stitch, and what he's doing. If you guys need any clothing, or you want to see just some of his brand, go check him out on Instagram. He's doing phenomenal clothing, guys. It looks amazing. Um, Shout out to the Two Man Podcast. They they're doing a little special over there.
Oh, they
Collab
they
probably
they
coming
just came
soon.
out with a great episode about 2 weeks ago, man. An amazing episode. So
Yeah, yeah. So little collab coming soon. And shout out to everybody that's watching, man. We really appreciate y'all, like, just really taking the time out your day, and giving us some of your time. Thank you so much.
yes, absolutely, Dre. Like you said, thank you to the fans, you guys. None of this is possible without you guys. Your support, I mean, your contributions is just a blessing. We're just so grateful to have you guys here. Dre, shout out to you, man. You're my brother, man. Obviously, you're my closest, if not one of my closest friends, man. And like, bro, I wouldn't want to do this with anyone else. Shout out to Earn Figures. I mean, they are just creating great content right now in terms of financial freedom, financial investments, and how to get into the tech world as well. So they just have all contents right there. Shout out to the Nerdy in Many Ways YouTube channel. And Dre, also, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters as well. They just continue to show us so much support, and because of that, we continue to give them exclusive content. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe to us on Patreon, and also subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on all streaming platforms. And continue to check out our blogs as well. We post every weekly on our website. Um, Dre, great show today, man. I love you, bro. We'll be back again next week with another new episode. Continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions, and until next time, guys, peace.